Hello everyone, I am Madhuri Kakade from Rajgarh Institute of Management Research and Development. This session for Operations Specialization students. The subject name is Services Operations Management 2nd. Today, I will be starting Unit 2nd Service Quality Part 1. Contents of this session: first, defining service quality; second, dimensions of service quality; third, gaps in service quality. Introduction to service quality. Service quality involves the comparison of expectations with the actual performance. A business with high service quality meets customer needs while remaining economically competitive. Improved service quality may increase economic competitiveness. According to Lewis and Booms, service quality is a measure of how well a delivered service matches the expectation of the customer. Dimensions of service quality. There are 5 dimensions like reliability, assurance, empathy, tangibles, responsiveness, etc. that customers use to evaluate the quality of service that they receive. The first dimension of service quality is reliability. This refers to the organization's ability to perform the service accurately and dependable. There are 3 components attached to this dimension, which involve the ability of complete the service on time, consistently, on error-free every time. The second dimension of service quality is responsiveness. This looks at the organization's ability to respond to customer needs promptly. Keeping a customer waiting, especially when there is no clear obvious reason, generates a negative perception among consumers. Next dimension is assurance. Relies on the employee's ability to establish trust and instill confidence with the customers. This is based on the employee's knowledge and ability to maintain courteous communication. This dimension is characterized by 4 components. First, competence. Second, respect for the customers. Third, effective communication. Fourth, the basic attitude conveyed to the customers. The whole dimension of service quality is empathy. This is established by the employee's ability to show care and genuine concern for the customer. There are 3 questions the customer may ask when trying to gauge an employee's level of empathy. First, is the customer service representative appreciable? Second, does the customer service representative seem sensitive? Third, is the customer service representative try to understand my need? The fifth and final dimension involves the tangible. This refers to the aesthetic of the company. It looks the service how visual applying to the company appears to the customer, or if it is at least in line what customer may accept with the specific industry. Service quality gap model. Customer service is largely a function of perception and customer expectation and service actually provided. If the service provided meets customer expectation, then the customer is satisfied. If the service provided is not up to the customer expectation, then the customer is dissatisfied. This satisfaction arises due to gaps that arise the customer service. Gaps in service quality. Zetmal Berry and Parshuraman identified for potential gap within the service organization that may lead to a final and more serious gap. Service gap, the difference between what the customer expected and what they perceived was delivered to them. Gap model has been further refined to identify a total of 6 types of gaps that can occur at various points during the design and delivery to a service. Service gap models. Let's look at the gap model in detail. It involves the gap model between customer and the management. The first gap is the between customer needs and expectations and management definition of these needs. The gap is called the knowledge gap. Problem: not knowing what customer expect. Reasons: first, lack of interaction between management and customers. Second, insufficient communication between contact employees and managers. Third, insufficient market research. Fourth, lack of market segmentation. Fifth, focus on transactions rather than relationships. The second gap is standard group. It is the gap between management definition of customer needs and the translation of those into design and delivery specification. Problem: not selecting the right service designs and standards. Reasons: first, poor service design. Second, inappropriate physical evidence. Third, unsystematic new service development process. Fourth, failure to connect service design to service positioning. Fifth, absence of process management to focus on customer requirements. The third gap is delivery gap. It is the gap between translation into design or delivery specification and execution of design or delivery specification. Problem: difference between specified standard and delivery team's actual performance on these standards. Reasons: first, ineffective recruitment. Second, lack of empowerment, perceived control and teamwork. Third, role ambiguity and role conflict. Fourth, inappropriate evaluation and compensation system. Fifth, failure to match supply and demand. And sixth, customer lack of knowledge of their roles and responsibilities. The fourth gap is communication gap. It is the gap between execution of design delivery specification and advertising and sales promotion. Further, the customer interpretation of the advertising communication, it is also very important. Problem: not matching performance to promises made by the company. Reasons: first, tendency to view each external communication as independent. Second, not managing customer expectations through all forms of communication. Third, not adequately educating customer. Fourth, over-promising in promotions and through physical evidence cues. Fifth, differences in policies and procedure across branches or units. Fifth gap is perception gap. It is the difference between execution of design or delivery specification and the customer perception of product execution. Problem: difference between what is delivered and what customer perceive they have received. Reasons: perception gap recognize that the customer do not always correctly understand what the service has done to them. Second, this situation is likely to occur with credence service for which it is difficult to judge service performance even after delivery. Third, example, doctor will explain to the patient what happened during the operation, what was found and what the patient can expect in the future. The sixth and final gap is service gap. It is the customer experience in relative to the expectations. Problem: difference between what is the customer expect to the receive and their perception of service that is the delivered. Reasons: first, this gap is the most critical and ultimate goal should be in narrowing and closing this gap. Second, gaps on stages 1 to 5 lead to this gap, so the organization should work on those 5 gaps mentioned before.